In this lecture, we're going to examine what makes a good app marketing plan. We're going to look at how to develop an app marketing plan and how to identify what channels you should be using. Finally, we're going to look at some different examples of different marketing plans so you can choose the type of plan which is right for you and your product. What is a marketing plan? Simply, it's a plan to coordinate your marketing activities. And activities in your marketing plan might include when you should write copy, when you should undertake surveys and user research, when you should work on your pricing model, when should you engage in digital advertising, and when should you use social media to communicate your messages to your potential users. But other areas of the marketing plan could include things such as brand development, determining what are your unique selling points, your USPs, but also about persona development, really understanding who is your target user and customer. And we'll see that in a bit more detail in the next slide. Before we can think about the different marketing channels and start planning our activities, we need to get more information about our potential customers and users. So this is really about persona development. It's the need to build a persona of your target customer or user. Who are they? How old are they? Where do they go? Both online and offline. What apps and websites do they use? Where do they hang out? And different techniques we can use to determine a user's persona is two common ones. One's a questionnaire. We can send out questionnaires to different users or potential users and to get a bit more detail about who they are and their interests. But we can also then interview some potential customers in a bit more detail to add the meat to the bones of the questionnaire. And on the next slide we'll just see an example of a persona, so you know what it looks like and what sort of questions to ask in your questionnaire and interviews in order to build this sort of structure. This is an example persona that I've just downloaded from the internet, just to give you an idea of what a persona looks like. And you can see from a persona it has a name, so in this case Melissa, and Melissa has a picture, so you can see Melissa, you can really connect to her. And it has key information about Melissa, so her age, where she lives, her stage in her life, what job does she have, and then a bit about her motivations, what motivates her. So in this case it's around her family and it's being appreciated for it and feeling happy and grateful, and also what sort of behaviours does Melissa typically do. You can see on the list there she volunteers for different things and spends time away with the family. And it's also understanding the person's needs as well, so to really get a picture of this user. So you really have to imagine this person exists in real life. So when you build your app or when you're communicating with your target audience, you need to imagine that you are talking directly to Melissa, and think about what channels that she would use, the tone of voice that they would respond to, and the amount of money they would like to spend on your product. So really this helps you enormous amount to help you develop your product and also to develop your communication with your target audience. And now think about how best you can communicate with and build a relationship with your target persona. Do you have existing channels that you can communicate with them? For example, do you have a website, an existing email list, or a social media following? You might have a Twitter following that you can utilize to communicate to your target audience. But also think outside the box. What other channels are available to you? Of course, you've got the App Store where users download the app. That's a line of communication with the user. You've got advertising, both physical advertising, traditional advertising, and also digital advertising. But also think about other people. So where does your persona go? What websites does she visit or he visit? What blogs do they use? Vlogs? What other channels do they actually use? And also think about other influencers in this market. Can you have access to their marketing list? Can you build a relationship with with other influencers that they can recommend your product? Really think and write down these channels. In the next lecture we'll look at some examples of different marketing plans. So let's move on.